Boys, one of the main things that a lot of members of the community are worried about is, does Paradox actually listen to feedback? And well, today I'm going to be covering one of the most revised area of the map for EU5. I'm talking about Eastern Europe. They do listen, if you ask me, because they've made huge changes. I'm counting around 300 plus map changes alone with this particular revision, and this is just part of the map itself. Talking, to be more precise, about the Poland, Ruthenian, and Baltic feedback, where there's been 194 new locations added, 24 lakes, so 1 extra wasteland. But more importantly than this, they've even added new characters. A ton of new cultures have also been added, including Halician, Huronian, Polassian, Smolenskian. We got so many new Russian, Polish, and just overall Slavic cultures. It's wild. And they also took the time to rename all modern Czech, Estonian, Latvian, and Polish locations to their national languages, which is Romanian, as you all know, right? We actually have the renames over here. I'm not going to go through them because I'm going to have a heart attack just trying to pronounce these, let's face it. Aside from that, we also have one nation that was removed, Regenwald, and we've got a complete rework of the location ownership and subject relationship of the Silesian countries. I'll show you on the map itself what I'm talking about in a few seconds. There's been some raw goods that have been changed and added. Terrain and vegetation has been completely reviewed. He does not kid when he says total review for this. And they've even added some minorities to make sure that you really need an ASA computer, of course. Now, this is what the political map looks like right now, and this is what it used to look like before. Now, I'm gonna zoom in, but before I do zoom in, you can see the freaking difference is massive. I'm talking freaking huge difference. So, in the old map, we've got, for example, Kiev as a part of the Duchy of Lithuania, as one of the autonomous areas, or better yet, one of the subjects of the Duchy of Lithuania. And we've got quite a few Mazovian, let's say, principalities over here as subjects of the Poles. Whilst in the new one, Kiev is significantly bigger. I'm talking about they doubled the freaking size of Kiev. They've also made Volhynia and Halikia separate entities compared to how it was before, which was Galicia Volhynia, as it's basically shown in EU4. They've added some new entities here, such as Mstislavl, Chernihiv, which is again a tributary of the Great Horde. And they've also made some new changes to the Silesian parts. They've added a lot of Silesian new entities, like a lot of them. Like, holy shit. How many do we have now? Let me count. 1, 2, 26, man. There's 26 entities right now in the new updated version compared to the, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 entities that we had before. That is a massive rework. I'm talking huge ass freaking rework right there. The Teutons also saw a lot of changes, as well as the Livonian lands. So, for example, the Teutons' subjects and own borders have been remodeled. Look at this area here, for example, compared to how it looks now. Kelm is completely separated, so it's got 2 separate provinces. Ivonoklau is also over here, occupied at the start of the campaign by the Teutons that are making their way into the Polish lands. And as you can see, Regenwald, let me actually zoom in. Regenwald on the old map is there, but on the new map it's just gone. It's completely gone. We have Volgast instead of it. So they've made some changes to the central part of the HRE, of course, too. In the north, we still have Denmark owning the Estonian parts into the northern part of the Baltic, but we got some new entities here. We have Riga Litoniare instead of whatever the schnaps this was. I mean, Rigl? Maybe it was the same name. I don't know. I guess kind of makes sense that it's the same name, Riga Litoniare, with the L, right? But look at that. The difference is day and night, honestly. The Livonian order has been a lot more fragmented with the new map. So this is the old one. This is the new one. On the bright side, though, pretty much all the lands of the Livonians, except for Osel, are connected directly. And I know these little entities around are still technically a part of the Livonian order. They're subjects of the Livonians, so it doesn't really make any difference. But just saying, you never know what might happen to your subjects when the campaign starts, right? Toropets is now apparently a subject of the Lithuanians compared to how it was in the previous iteration, where it was an independent entity. And also the map itself, look at this, completely changed here. Smolensk in the old map and Smolensk in the new map. The new map, Smolensk actually is bigger. It's more to the east. It's right here actually. I don't know if you can see, it's pretty big. It's doubled in size, and it's also a tributary of the Golden Horde. So the political layout, at least, has been seeing some insane revisions. This is, of course, massively due to the community itself. And I like to see in the new map also that the Teutons start with quite a few provinces controlled by them in the initial Teutonic Polish-Lithuanian War, because as we all know, this war technically was in favor of the Teutons. They made some serious gains, although they did make some concessions, which begs the question, why don't we have a two-way peace treaty where you can give and you take some? Because in this war, from a historical perspective, the Polish gained some lands as well as the Teutons gained some lands. That's how this peace treaty went. Just saying. I know that we got a clear 100% no to two-way peace treaties from Johan, but I do think that, you know, it would be a good addition to the game. Maybe there's still time to change that. Just saying. And I know I'm just talking to the wall right now because they don't listen to me. They only listen to the feedback on the forums. So now you probably also noticed to the south parts of Lithuania, the Duchy of Kiev, which is now a tributary of the Golden Horde, was replaced with Novogrodok, Slutsk, Pinsk, and Turov. These are, I would assume, Belarusian entities, and I have to say this is significantly more accurate. Kiev actually was a tributary of the Golden Horde up until 1362. So the game starts in 1337. There's roughly around 30 years more, or 20-something years more, before Kiev actually becomes a part of the greater Grand Duchy of Lithuania, right? Wherein they become a subject to the Lithuania. This is way more accurate, a lot better shown. I'm glad to see that they revised this. This, in my opinion, was the one part of the map that really did need massive revision because it was super inaccurate before. There's a lot of things that were not really accurate before in this one. Like, for example, and this is still inaccurate, Brandenburg does not have 1 million Space Marines. Where's my Space Marines, man? I can totally unbiased say that Brandenburg started with 1 million units. In fact, they were tech 28, okay? And they need to start with that for historical reasons, really. I'm only asking it to be historical. That's it. Pavia says that a lot of the rework for the Silesian tags is not only because of feedback from the community, but also because of some fellow Polish developers. So big shout out to the Polish developers for helping out. Also mentions the division between Galicia Volhynia into two separate principalities, which are in a personal union under the same ruler, Yuri II, and as well as the Principality of Kiev are now tributaries of the Golden Horde, part of the Tatar Yoke International Organization. This is the dynasty map mode. We have the Gediminids famous dynasty as well as the Piast as well. So I'm assuming the back to the Piast achievement is still going to be a thing in EU5. For Zemislid also we have in the southern parts of Silesia, another very popular famous historical dynasty. Toropets apparently is its own thing as well. Here Ruriks we have in the Russian lands, pretty much all over the Russian lands. This is the location map mode. I'm going to leave the dev diary in the comment section, or the description better yet, so you guys can check it out for yourself. I'm not going to go through all of the small location changes because there's 190 something of them, so I don't want to take 50 minutes of a video to do that. The provinces have also been slightly revised, a lot more historical as Pavia also mentioned, and following the powiaty and voivodeships of the nations depicted. Voivodeship is basically one of the administrative structure of Poland and quite a few other nations, actually, not just Poland. Back in the day, even Romania was it had voivodeships as administrative divisions in Moldova and Wallachia, but that's really back in the day. Now we have Județe. The area map, we've got slight changes to the area map, and honestly, really important question, how come we got black Ruthenia, red Ruthenia, but we don't really have yellow Ruthenia? What's up with that racism, bro? Can we stop the racism paradox? In fact, I'm pretty sure this would be blue Ruthenia, not Volhynia. What is this? This is absolutely unhistorical, and it ruined my day, honestly. Terrain map mode also has had massive revisions. We got a lot of wetlands and the central parts of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, I guess, in the future. At this point, it's actually at the border between Lithuania and the Ukrainian principalities. A lot more forests and woods than ever before, and I'm talking a lot more, with most of the farmlands being, of course, concentrated in the western parts of Poland, as well as the southern parts, a little bit of farmlands. And the juice of the juice, guys, the new and revised culture map mode is just absolutely delicious. Now, for reference, this is the old map mode, and pay close attention, old map mode and new map mode. Look at the difference. Holy mother of God. There's like, it's a completely different game, honestly, after this. Look at the Polish area, for example. We've got Greater Polish, Lesser Polish, Mid Polish, but there's none of them. We ate them. We ate all the mid-Polish. There's no mid-Polish people anymore. Then we have Silesian, Masovian, Prussian, Pruthenian, Sudovian between the Pruthenians, Samogitians, Augstatians. So the Lithuanians have been divided basically into more or less 4 cultures. I would assume Pruthenian would be similar to Lithuanian in a way, right? Like Old Prussian, basically. Kashubian, we got quite a lot of them too. Polesian in the central part between Lithuania and the Ruthenian part. And so we have a lot of new Russian cultures. Novgorodian is its own culture as well. And we've got Smolenskian a little bit we can see here as its own culture. Severian is still, for some reason, a culture. And Ruthenian as well. And we have Crimean in the south. Now, I have to say, I don't agree with this. Look at this. So basically, a majority of the southern parts are Crimean. Like, clearly Crimean. I would say that this area here between Ruthenian and Crimean should be a little bit more hashed out. Should be more Ruthenians and Crimeans mixed with each other, especially at the border between them, right? Because modern Ukrainians are essentially a mixture of Ruthenians and Cossacks and Crimeans that mixed up and formed modern Ukrainians, right? As far as I'm aware. And there would definitely not be a clear majority of anything in this area, because this area has been overrun by different migrating people again and again and again and again, right? Now in the north, we've got Liv, which honestly, I don't know what that is. Then we have Latvian, Curonian in the Curonian Peninsula, Estonian, and of course Ingrian in the north. Now let's go back to the old map, because check it out. Even that has been massively changed. I mean, sure, you did have Curonian, but the amount of Curonian has been massively increased. And I just noticed Western Baltic, that was a culture before. Did they remove that? Hold up a sec. Oh no, they didn't. We still have Western Baltic, right? This is Western Baltic, or is it just Latvian and I'm being a Pepega? I think I might be a Pepega actually. Yeah, though the admixture between Latvian, Curonian is pretty cool to see, and the addition of Sodovian is also really nice to see too, as well as how exactly it's spread all around, even in the Masovian and Polesian lands, not just between the Ruthenian and Augstatian part. Masovian is a great addition too. I'm glad to see that. I'm sure a lot of people from the Masovian Principality are happy to see this, except they're all fucking dead now, and it's Poland. It's only one country. It's called Poland. You stop with the Masovian simping, okay? I'm tired of Masovian simps in the comment section. I know Mazovia the Great, but you know what, brother? You know what? Read this. Polish is greater, I totally wasn't sponsored by the Polish government to say that. I was not. I swear I was not. Cannot prove nothing, okay? There also have been some changes to the religious map. So this is the new religious map. We've got significantly more Romuvan in the new map, actually, compared to the old one where we didn't have any Romuvan in Poland at all, as well as no Romuvan south of the Lithuanian. Now it's a lot more mixed. Look at this. A lot more mixed and significantly more Romuvan in the Prussian parts, actually, as well as more in the Curonian areas as well. Aside from that, they've made some changes to the Carpathians, where we've got slightly more Orthodox here in the old maps and less Orthodox in the new maps, I think. There's definitely less Orthodox in the new map. So I'm assuming that means they added more Hungarian pops in Transylvania, because the Hungarians would be the Catholics. They've definitely shuffled the raw materials. Like, I can see significantly more diverse materials, plus some of the important stuff like iron, which is needed for base construction, like lumber and all that, has been definitely more spread out. We got how many more pockets of iron? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30 pockets of iron compared to the old map. Look at this. The old map is basically wheat, lumber, and like 2 iron province. No bueno. Look at the new one. Look at the colors themselves. Like, completely freaking different world, man. I hope this is the trend for all the current released maps, because I see this old version of clumps of something in a massive distributed area in most of the newer maps, and that's not bueno, because an economy to function with the current trade and production system that they have in EU5, you need a diverse amount of raw materials. This, which is the new version for Eastern Europe, will allow for that diverse raw material market to prosper, whilst the old one is going to end up in bottlenecks. You're not going to have enough raw materials to build this and that, and you might end up just having a bad game because you cannot import that really one rare trade good from half across the map, right? They made the raw material map mode more complex economic wise. Yes, good. I love that, and I really hope to see that for all the maps, every single one of them. Please, I love you, Paradox. You're doing such a good job with the feedback. Thank you so much for listening to us, honestly. And please, especially the raw material one, make it for all the maps, because I'm seeing this as being a massive issue when you're playing in certain parts of the world as it stands right now. We still have the same three main markets, Riga, Kiev, and Krakow. Small differences between the maps though. Pavia also confirms that Kiev and Smolensk are tributaries of the Horde, not vassal. That's a really important distinction because as a tributary, they basically have control over their internal policies, over their everything. Only thing they need to do is just pay a monthly, I would assume, or yearly or whatever it's going to be, tribute to the Horde, and the Horde's basically going to leave them alone to do whatever they want. So this means that Smolensk and Kiev are likely going to be contenders for a bigger game than we would imagine otherwise. Confirms Livonian Order as the overlord of all the Livonian countries. That's it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm actually super excited to see more feedback for what we already know map wise, and I hope Paradox stays on this particular direction because they're doing a really great job in my opinion. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.